Hello Aquarius and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Aquarius, let's jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. So we're going to look at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future with oracle cards. And then we will dive deeper into the situation with tarot as we progress. But let's first start here, Aquarius, with looking at your recent past. Let's see what you guys have been dealing with. Recent past here for Aquarius. Ooh. A win-win outcome is forecast and conclusions are within reach. Okay, so this is stressing about some sort of an outcome. Stressing about the unknown, unsure how things are going to turn out. And I don't necessarily know like why or what happened, but I feel like this overall kind of message is about surrendering to whatever happens, because whatever happens is going to lead you exactly where you're supposed to be. So, and I'm almost wondering if that's kind of what happened, an outcome that didn't align with what you thought, like what you thought you wanted, but not seeing how this is actually leading you to better. I don't necessarily know what happened, but I do definitely feel as if Spirit's really trying to say, like, what didn't work out is still working out kind of thing. Current energy for Aquarius. Confidence is your key to success. So, especially if there was like a situation where you felt you failed or you reached a dead end, or like I said, like something didn't work out. Spirit saying to get to where you want to go, this is about allowing yourself to like, I don't know if it's like try again. That's kind of what I hear, like try again. Maybe it's like you weren't ready then. You weren't ready, or it wasn't the right time. Or you had something to learn. And now I feel like this is about taking some sort of a risk again, or like putting yourself out there again in some way. Current energy for Aquarius. Step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, literally. I feel like things unfolded the way that they did in the past for like divine timing purposes. Like it wasn't the right time. What does Aquarius need to know moving forward? Nothing is yet set in stone. It's time to release negativity. So this isn't like, this nothing is yet set in stone is the universe's way of saying you're still the co-creator of your life. Just because things didn't work out a certain way doesn't mean you can't still get to where you want to go. You know, the love, the success, the freedom, the abundance, all of those things. But I do feel as if there were certain things that needed to be adjusted. I don't know, it's like different habits, maybe a different mindset, or letting go of like some things that were kind of holding you back. And I feel like you've kind of been through a certain transformation here, which means like the transformation that took place is what now makes you ready in a way that you weren't before. You know things now that you didn't know back then, and you had to go through what you did to learn or to grow or to evolve in some way. So now it's kind of like the future is up to you. Now, when certain things don't work out, a lot of times we tend to, well, it's easy to, a lot of people jump to conclusions that say, oh, this must mean that I can't have success, or I can't have love, or I can't have abundance, or whatever. But when things don't work out, it's not a reflection of what's possible. It's a reflection of where you're at on your journey at that place. And I've always said that like failure and loss and experiences that don't work out exactly according to plan, like those are never destinations. They're really the indication that you're in the middle of a journey. And one thing that I've really learned, I think that word failure, right? It carries such a heavy connotation. It's like, oh, I failed. But I've really learned that failure, that like what that means is a lesson. Like if you speak to any successful person or anybody who is in a place in their life where, maybe you want to be or you strive to be, they're not going to say, oh yeah, everything worked out exactly according to plan from day one. They're going to say, no, I failed and I, tried again, and then I failed and I picked myself up and I tried again and I failed. And then I learned and then I grew and then I tried again and it worked. And I think that this is about not jumping to conclusions about your journey because certain things didn't work out. Because I think that where you're headed wouldn't be possible if you hadn't have kind of gone through the growth that I feel like you've been through since whatever this was. All right, overall theme of this reading here for Aquarius. Let's see what we've got for you. So yeah, I feel like this is very much about divine timing. And divine timing isn't like a specific date and time. It's when you're fully aligned, the time in which you're fully aligned with the very thing that you're trying to draw in. When you have the beliefs that you're worthy and deserving and capable and supported and guided, all the things that, growth and transformation really lead us to. Overall theme of this for Aquarius. Pretty sure there's a divine timing card in this deck. Overall theme of this reading. Soulmate. Transformation. And then release on the bottom here. I think obviously when you see a soulmate card, I think a lot of people want to jump to conclusions about this means somebody else, a soulmate outside of you. And though, sure, that could mean that, this to me is more so about your relationship with yourself. And I say that because I feel like that's been a big theme between here and here, this transformation. It's almost as if this is, because, even if we want to find the love that we deserve outside of ourselves, and this doesn't have to just be about love, but even if we want that, we have to become that for ourselves first, right? When we want the success outside of us, we have to show up in a way for ourselves that aligns with the belief that we're worthy and deserving and supported and all the things that I was kind of talking about. And I think that this journey for you has really been about transforming into somebody that is, capable and finally believes that you're worthy and deserving. Even though you always have been, I feel like you're at a place now where you see your worth and are standing tall in that a little bit more than you ever have. And this is almost like this journey of like becoming your own best partner first. Like this is really kind of deeper stuff here. And I think that through that transformation, you're opening up a lot of doors. And I think that you just don't see that yet. All right. Let's dive into this some more, Aquarius. Let's look at this past energy. I also think that sometimes, okay, this is also for somebody out there. We label certain people as like soulmates or twin flames or whatever. And then when relationships don't work out in that way, we go, oh, that must mean I can't have the love that I deserve because it didn't work out with this person. But, sometimes we actually get ourselves stuck by attaching expectation to certain outcomes. So I feel like this is about understanding that you're ready in a way for whatever it is you're trying to attract or create in a way that you never have been, but it's because certain things didn't work out in the past. All right, let's see. Reset past energy here for you, Aquarius. The Lovers in reverse. The Hermit. Yeah, the Eight of Wands. So there's a lot of self-reflection in this energy. Maybe some time spent healing, some time spent kind of sitting with yourself in ways that you never really have before. And I feel like certain situations really pushed you into that. Like you didn't face a lot of the things that needed to be faced until certain things happened. This Lovers in reverse is this energy of being in spaces that don't align with what it is you really deserve, but thinking that's all you deserve. So almost as if there were certain things in your life that weren't really aligning with what you really truly are worth and what you really truly deserve, but not realizing you were deserving of more. So there might have been some force of making certain things happen, trying to approach something with the belief that some sort of outcome would bring you feelings of worthiness or lovableness or whatever. And I feel like certain things kind of fell apart here. And I think that, one of the things that I've really learned on my journey is, it's hard when things don't work out. It's hard when you hit dead ends in relationships or, career paths or whatever. Like, it's really, really hard, obviously. But I've really learned to trust what that means for the journey as a whole. Because I used to jump to conclusions about my worth or what's possible for me based on what happened. If I reached a dead end or if a certain relationship failed, it would be, oh, I can't have this. I can't have the love that I deserve. I can't have the success. But our outer world is never telling us truths about ourselves. We're telling ourselves truths about ourselves based on how we respond. So if we jump to conclusions about ourselves, I can't get there, I'm not enough, I can't have these things, that's going to kind of become our self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think that this is about not allowing what has happened in the past to dictate what you believe is possible for you in the future, because you're actually being moved into spaces that align with you more than anything in the past ever has. And I think that that's where kind of trusting the process is really important for you right now. Current energy for Aquarius: confidence is your key to success. Step out of your comfort zone. Magician. It's like you have tools and skills and knowledge that you didn't have back here. You have things that you needed that you didn't have back here. And you received these things or gained these things because of some sort of transformation that took place. Like, that's like confirming that. Because the magician, it's like the accumulation of all of the tools. Like, you have your cups, you have your swords, you have your pinnacles, you have your wands. It's like finally having everything that you need. But you gained what you need because of the journey, because of the process. That's why failure and loss are never destinations, just an indication you're in the middle of a journey. So you've been on a journey. Current energy for Aquarius. Oh, but you're tired. You're burnt out. And I get why. I think that it's, when certain things haven't worked out for so long, or when you feel like we just get tired. We get tired of things being the way that they are. And that makes a lot of sense, for sure. I think that this is about continuing to show up for the things you deserve and desire despite what hasn't worked so far, right? That's been a big message of this, because that is like the core, that's like the core theme. Showing up, like, confidence is your key to success, showing up, continuing to show up, but trusting that the reason things are going to be different this time is because you're different. Your knowledge is different. Your like maybe even your persona, like just things about you are so different now. In a good way. You've transformed in a lot of ways. You've learned, you've healed, you've grown and evolved. So that means outcomes are going to be different. Current energy here for Aquarius. Healing. You've been doing some really deep work here. The Star with the Nine of Wands, and I don't think you realize how much that's moving you forward. You've been doing a lot of work that a lot of people don't. And I think that this is about kind of trusting the work that you've done too. Trusting how far you've come, trusting how much you've overcome. Like, you've built kind of this strength and this confidence and just so many things that I feel like you have to be proud of. And that's going to carry you so far forward here, Aquarius. It's, so much about the, attracting what it is that we deserve and desire is about going on a journey of becoming the person we need to be in order to attract and sustain it. And that's why I've always said, like, when you pray for flowers, don't be surprised when it starts to rain, right? Because when you ask for good things in your life, the universe is going to throw trials and tribulations and failures and moments of, feeling like you've fallen flat on your face, like, not to punish you, but to transform you. That's where you release limiting beliefs. That's when you let go of what isn't serving you. That's when you step into the version of you that you need to be in order to attract, receive, and sustain the very things that you're trying to call in. So you've been on this journey for a while, and I feel like you're at the tail end of it, okay? When you're closer to the end of a journey, the more overwhelmed things feel, the more, you start to feel kind of burned out, a little bit over it. So really, really needing to trust the journey here, because I do feel like it's taking you to some cool places. What does Aquarius need to know moving forward? Nothing is yet set in stone. It's time to release negativity. You don't realize how much power you have to create the life that you deserve and desire, Aquarius. And I think that you've been doubting your power for a really long time. And this is really, needing to step into the understanding that the life that you deserve and desire is yours to experience. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have to go through journeys, right? Like I said. What else here for Aquarius? Moving forward. The Ace of Wands with the Five of Wands. This is taking action. Again, like putting yourself out there. Trying again. Like, and here's the thing. I don't think you don't have a lot of trust right now. Maybe not for yourself. Maybe not in the universe. And I think that that's because certain things didn't work out the way that you expected. And there is fear here. Maybe fear of ending back in the same place that you did in the past. But you're not going to end up in the same place because you're not in the same place. If you jump to conclusions about your reality, right? I can't have the things that I deserve and desire. My past is proof of that. That becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you can dig deep and trust that everything is helping you step into the version of yourself that you need to be, then you can trust the transformation. You can trust the healing. You can trust the work that you've put in. You can trust that that means that you are ready now to step more into a purpose or a path or whatever that you maybe weren't ready for in the past. So that's why this nothing is yet set in stone card is here, because this is your choice. It's your choice to put yourself out there again. It's your choice to try things again, whatever that might look like. But this is about learning to really trust yourself in a way that you never really have before. Like doing it despite the fear, doing it despite the second guessing. What does Aquarius need to know moving forward? The Eight of Pentacles, putting the work in something. This is like, I don't know if this is like a project or it's like something that you experienced a failure in the past. Whether it is a relationship, I'm not saying like the same relationship is coming back. That's not what I'm saying. But like an opportunity for a relationship or the opportunity for starting a project or a new job or something. Like the Ace of Wands is a lot about passion. So, yeah, you weren't ready then, but you are now. You are now. And you're ready in a way that you wouldn't be if you hadn't gone through what you did in the past. So, I don't know. This is an interesting reading. It was kind of convoluted a little bit there in the beginning, but I feel like it's so clear. And I love this soulmate card too, because this is like, I think that we worry about what's going to happen outside of us. But when we can start to become the person that we've always needed ourselves to be, the person we can trust, the person that has our back, the person that believes in us, the person that, like I said, like we can trust, like that's when we really start to attract the things outside of us that we want, because we finally start to be that person for ourselves. I know for me, like this something kind of similar happened in my journey where I was, building a certain life for myself, and then out of nowhere things really fell apart. And I was like, obviously, understandably so, very devastated. And I felt as if the universe was taking away certain things from me and almost proving to me, like, see, you can't have these things. You're not good enough. You're not capable enough. Like, you can't be successful. You can't have love. And there was a period in my life there where I actually then went back like into settling, where it was like, okay, if I can't build the life of my dreams, I might as well settle for one that is all right? That I can survive, that I can be okay in. And then I kind of went through like a second awakening where the universe pulled me out of that and, helped me really, step into my path and my purpose in a way that I never had before. But the person that was doing it the next time was someone very different than the person I was before. And then I was able to build a life that was so much better than the one that fell apart. And I think sometimes we think that like the journey to the things we desire is linear. Like it's supposed to work from just like point A to point B. And then when things don't work out the way we expect or the way that we had hoped, when certain things end or again, there's failure or whatever, we, again, jump to those conclusions and we say, I can't have it. I'm not good enough. It's not meant for me. But when we're willing to kind of surrender to the experience and do the work and do the healing and, work through that transformation and transmutation, the version of us that comes out on the other side is the version of us that we needed to be to have the very thing that we were trying to call in. When we can trust that, we really start to create miracles in our life because that's where we start to see that there is a purpose for everything that happens. And even if it doesn't make sense in the moment, when we get to where we're trying to go, we go, okay, I see why that had to happen because I needed to become this person to be able to show up for this thing in this way. And that's what creates it. Also, my stomach is growling, so I apologize for that. All right, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at the deeper purpose and ultimately kind of like what's going on below the surface, but asking the question, what do you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? So looking at tangible advice, and then I've got an advice card to pull at the end. So looking at the deeper purpose for this, pulling that tangible advice and trying to provide some more clarity. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Aquarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aquarius.